Okay, so this is our graph for Warren and Susan having a friendly bet to see who can get the most signatures. But at some point, they're going to have the same amount of signatures. So from earlier, if you remember, Susan started off with 20. Warren started off with 10. Warren ended up collecting 4 signatures per minute, and Susan ended up collecting 3 signatures per minute. And so the slope-intercept form for Warren's equation would turn out to be y is equal to 4x plus 10, and Susan's is going to be y is equal to 3x plus 20. So now we're going to graph it. You might be wondering how I knew to put signatures collected on the y-axis and minutes on the x-axis. And that's because over here we're going to put our slope is equal to y over x. So that's your rise over run. And from the problem, we know that the rate was that Warren and Susan both collected some number of signatures per minute. And so I know now that the y-axis is going to be signatures and the x is going to be minutes. So here we go. We're going to start off with Warren, who collected 10 signatures to begin with, and he's going to be collecting at 4 signatures per minute. So this is going up by tens, and this is going its run, the x-axis is going by 5s. If it were going by 1s, you could easily just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then over 1. But since it's not, we'll go ahead and do by 5. So we're going to find an equivalent fraction of 4 times 5 and 1 times 5. I know that I can multiply by 5, or I can multiply 4 by 5 and get a 0 at the end, which is how we count by tens. All the tens have a 0 at the end. So 4 times 5 is 20, and 1 times 5 is 5. Susan, if I multiply 3 times 5 like I did here, Susan's going to have 3 times 5 is equal to 15, and that's a 5 at the end. And we want to be able to get a number divisible by 10 on our y-axis. So the next number we could multiply by is 10. So we're going to go 3 times 10 and 1 times 10. 3 times 10 is 30, and 1 times 10 is 10. So now here, we calculated Warren to be at 20 over 5. So we're going to count up to 20 by 10s and over by 5s. So 20, 10, so this is 0, 10, 20, and by 5s across 5. So Warren's next point is going to be here. So when we draw the line, this is what it would look like. Susan's line is going to be starting at 20 because she started off with 20 signatures. And then from what we calculated over here, we're going to count up to 30 by 10s, and we're going to count across by 5s up to 10. So starting wherever Susan started, we're going to count up by 10s to 30, 10, 20, 30, and by 5s to 10, 5, 10. Because I wasn't exact in my drawing, the points didn't neatly match up. Let's see here. And you should always try to be exact when you're drawing your graphs. All right. And so we see that the lines meet at this point, and that is at x is 10 and y is 50. Although this is the solution point, this isn't quite the full answer. The full answer should be at 10 minutes, both Warren and Susan will have collected 50 signatures. So this means if their bet ended at 10 minutes, they would have been at a tie. Had it gone on, then Warren would have won. If they stopped before 10 minutes, then Susan would have won.